in this video, I'll show you a simple system you can use, a simple method that will allow you to learn all the scale shape you want to learn. Instead of it being really like a hassle and really hard and tedious, you can do this in a fun way that will allow you to practice a scale shape really quickly and do it with confidence instead of being confused and really trying to learn it, and it seems hard and you feel overwhelmed. There's so many shapes. Instead, you can learn something, use it the same day, and then gradually expand every single day your playing style. Normally, when I started learning scales, I started out with the first position minor pentatonic. Then I added the blue note, right, to get that blues sound. But then from there, I used that for a long time, right? And then I wanted to expand. I wanted to play the natural minor, the Dorian minor over that. I wanted to learn the harmonic minor for neoclassical stuff and the melodic minor for the jazzy fusion stuff. But every time I went into a new scale, I had to learn 5 new shapes because I was at that time using the cage shape system, which is a great system. And it seemed completely overwhelming. And so I started really thinking about what does it really take to make this a fun process where I can practice something and then I can use it the same day. I can expand my skills instead of having to work for 6 months trying to learn a new scale with all the shapes and, you know, learn the shapes and then navigate back and forth horizontally on the, it's impossible, right? It seems like an insurmountable mountain of scale shapes you have to learn, which makes some people say, you don't have to learn scales, man. I can teach you how to improvise without scales, which is just a cop-out. And it won't allow you to get the freedom that you want in order to be able to play whatever you want to play and truly improvise. So let's look into it. It's a simple system. It's based on the fact that when you learn something new, you are uncertain, and that is the worst place to learn. When you start out playing guitar, everything is new, right? You have to focus on your right hand, your left hand, just to play the freaking chords, right? And it's just overwhelming. Just 2 minutes of trying to go back and forth between 3 chords takes an enormous amount of energy because everything is new. But because we start out like that, we think that that's just the way it is to practice, but it isn't. What you really need to do when you're learning scales is you need to build on something you know already, because then you'll learn at 10 times the speed or 1,000% faster. Because let's say that instead of learning first the pentatonic scale, and then the second position, and the third position, and the fourth, and so on, and then you try to go back and forth and you never get to that point, so you stay in these box shapes. That's another problem entirely that we can focus on at another time. And then we learn the natural minor scale. Right, and that is really cool, but I was struggling to even use that in a context, because, you know, the pentatonic scale is such a great tool, and you can use it over a ton of chord progressions in a ton of different styles. As soon as you try to learn and use a scale with 7 notes, the major scale, the minor scale, same thing, there are so many notes that doesn't sound good over what you're playing over. So this fixes that too, right? So what you need to do is you need to start with your first position minor pentatonic shape, right? As you can see, if I play the minor pentatonic right here, in the 5th fret, so we're dealing with the A minor pentatonic, then, you know, that's the first thing I learned, and then it was pretty easy to add the blue note, right? Because once I learned this, it was super easy to add that one note. I was playing this for a couple of weeks, right? I was improvising over some tracks in the background. And then adding that blue note to that one shape is super easy, right? Because it stands out. You learn one thing. I'm going to show you the charts around this in a second, but just see if you can follow along here for now. So you have this really simple shape, you add the blue note, that's pretty easy, you can do that in a day, and then you can take your licks, right, and then you can add that blue note to them, and then play around with the new stuff you have. So this is learned in a split second. And that's really the secret. That one little recognition of how easy was that. That was super easy. So why am I not learning scales in the same way? So I stepped away from trying to learn first this one shape, then the next, and then, harmonic minor, melodic minor, natural minor, or major scale the whole way through. It took forever. So instead, I just dropped the whole thing, because I could see that was it was a road with no end. So I said, we got this blue note, and that was super easy to add. What if I add it? Because I know that the minor pentatonic, the A minor pentatonic, is to be found in the natural minor. If I want to learn the natural minor, I can just add the notes to the pentatonic scale. So I got the A minor pentatonic. And then I want to add the notes of the natural minor, which is a note in the 7th fret on the high E string, a note in the 6th fret on the B string, then an addition of a note in the 4th fret on the G. Nothing happens in my K shape on the D string. But then here, on the A string, I add a note right there, and a note in the 7th fret there. We'll just take it on a chance. But it's basically either addition of a note. If I just take the top 3 strings, top string, instead of just playing, I get a note like that. So I can add that in. I have that additional note right there. So I got these 3 notes that I can add to my little shape here on the top 3 strings. And that was super easy, because now I can not only, I could play around with that for half an hour with the jam track in the background, and then I could go, I could use my minor pentatonic licks and the thing I know already, and then I could go to these extra notes, but then return to my pentatonic playing. And that was so beneficial, because suddenly I could, play my... Just that little note, it changes everything, right? Suddenly my playing was expanded. I'm talking about a shape I know really well, the pentatonic shape, and then adding notes to that. That's super easy. It's like adding the blue note. Natural minor note. And so it took me like this to be playing, instead of playing pentatonic, I was playing natural minor and pentatonic at the same time, which is the key, because I could use the pentatonic as the safe notes and the safe licks I had, and then I could add those extra notes to it. Genius approach, right? And it takes me only like 10 minutes to learn, or 2 minutes to learn the extra notes, and then perhaps 10-15 minutes to play around with them. Bam! So, Klaus, but I got tons of fretboard space. Hey, really? See, if I did the same thing to the bottom 3 strings, and I said, those are my blues scale notes, and I said, got a natural minor note there, and a natural minor note there, and nothing extra on the D string. Right? And if I did that, well, that's 5 shapes, 1 shape out of 5. So in just minutes, right? Of course I have to practice this every day to get really used to it. But in just a couple of minutes, I've added the natural minor notes to my very well-known first position minor pentatonic shape. And I'm 1 out of 5 now, in a day, right? And I can get really comfortable with it. I can put on a jam track in the background and just play a chord with my looper pedal and just have fun playing my old licks, my old way of... And then having fun using these extra notes. Right? So it works, it's miraculous, instead of practicing these scale shapes up and down. Also, when you practice scale shapes up and down, you get this pattern into your hand. Right? It runs up and down and up and down. Once you get into playing with the guys, hey, let's play a solo. That's what you play, that's what comes out, right? But by adding notes to an existing scale, I can then play the notes into my fingers. And that is what I do when I solo. So I'm practicing what I want to learn instead of practicing something I don't want to learn, which is to play up and down like that. Different thing if you want to learn how to play fast, of course. You need those runs, right? But so we can do this with any scale. And now I just added the blue note to the minor pentatonic. Then I added the natural minor. But we can play Dorian, which we use in blues-based rock. Right? AC/DC kind of stuff. The Dorian minor, I can practice that over the same shape, and it happens like this, right? Because I know that minor pentatonic so well. That is key. If you were to practice two scales you know very little of on top of each other like that, it's a nightmare. Because now you don't have any place to stand. You can't stand on your 2 feet looking at what you want to learn and then learn it with ease. You have to, you did it, it's all new, like starting, beginning guitar. It's a nightmare. So I just marked out the minor pentatonic with the blue note right there, the D sharp. I can remove that. So this is the well-known. It's so well-known I can play it up and down. Then I can go say, I want to add the notes of the natural minor. This is really cool for Gary Moore-like stuff. Blues, rock, you could say, or melodic rock. That's a key thing. And you can see how easy it is to just take the top 3 strings and really have fun with those and get used to them. And I can do the same thing with the bottom strings here. That's simply the natural minor. If I then learn this so well that it becomes second nature, like the pentatonic scale, if I get it to the same point, I play this for a week, for 2 weeks, I have fun with it, play Still Got the Blues, improvise over that, and I use these notes, then suddenly it's super well known. Well, then why not change this and then play harmonic minor? All I do is move 2 notes. So now I got harmonic minor. I'm used the seventh, the minor seventh of the A natural minor scale or the A minor pentatonic, and I just move it up one step. You see, that's just as easy as adding the blue note to the scale, right? Of just moving up that to the shape here. I can easily do that. Now I'm playing A harmonic minor with all the shape, all the notes here. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's play melodic minor. That's really cool. So let's take this note and push it up. That's the harmonic minor note, but that also is in the melodic minor. And then I can say, okay, I also want to take this up. This is also, so this is harmonic minor, right? Now I know this super well. I'm super familiar with the harmonic minor. And then I want to change that into the melodic minor. I just push this fella up and this fella. And suddenly I got melodic minor. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that neat? So I change one thing, and then I go for a totally new scale. So let's just go back again here to to natural minor. This is natural minor. You see the minor pentatonic there. Okay, that's what I learned for a week or 2, right? Then I'm getting really comfortable with that. Then I want to play the harmonic minor. I play all the notes like this. I just push 2 notes up. Bam, I got the harmonic minor. Cool. Then I want to learn the melodic minor. I just take that note. But imagine you're so comfortable with the harmonic minor shape now that it's second nature. Then it's super easy. If you do this before it's second nature, it's going to be really confusing. But then I'm just pushing up that note and this note. And voila, I got melodic minor. Super easy if you get really comfortable with each scale on this level. Well, this is actually Dorian minor now. If I push this, take this note right here and put it there instead, then I got the Dorian minor. Still see the pentatonic? This is my safe zone. The black notes here, if I use those, I'm back home, right? So I can play around with the new stuff. It's really comfortable, it's really fun, and you don't have to go out into the forest and get lost because you know you're home, and you can use the other notes, whether it be Dorian, natural minor, harmonic minor, as spice. So this results in, not only is it a cool way of learning these scales, but I can use them right away. And I can then move to the second position of the minor pentatonic and get really comfortable with that and say, I don't want to touch any other scale positions. For an entire month, every time I pick up my guitar, I'm just going to play in the second position. That's how it is. And I'm not going to touch the first position, so I can get as comfortable with the second position as I am with the first position minor pentatonic. And once I'm then that comfortable, then I can start changing that as well into harmonic minor, Dorian minor, natural minor, and I can layer it, get comfortable with it, really second nature. Then the next level, super easy, one note changes. Next, get comfortable, really comfortable. It's easy, you can see it on the fretboard. And then next level, super easy. So you go from pretty easy to super easy to even easier to easy, right? So I'm playing the minor pentatonic. And then suddenly we got this. And I'm using the Dorian minor. Right, with the pentatonic scale, but hey, then the whole tune's changing. Well, maybe I should have tuned up before I started this lesson here. Suddenly we shift to another realm of not blues-based, and it's more melodic with... But then I shift to the natural minor and my minor pentatonic. Right? So it's easy. It's right underneath my fingers. Then suddenly, you know, I want to go for not only melodic minor, but melodic rock. But suddenly it changes, so I need to use my harmonic minor scale. It's not like I have to go from scale to scale and switch from one thing to another. It's right underneath my fingers. You want natural minor? You want melodic minor? You want Dorian minor? You want harmonic minor? And it becomes really easy, intuitive. And it's like one thing. Suddenly you have one scale tool. It just morphs and you use the notes in the different shapes. It's so cool. So I really recommend this method. Let me just recap for you. You learn one scale, and in your case, I suppose, for most of you out there, you really know the first position minor pentatonic. Then you can just add the natural minor to it. You can add the Dorian K-shaped minor to it once you have the natural minor, because the change between natural minor and the Dorian minor is one note. You just push one note up and suddenly you're playing a new scale over your minor pentatonic, right? Then you go for harmonic minor, then you get really comfortable with that shape and go for the melodic minor, which is just one change, one note, right? And just make sure that you're comfortable on each level. You spend enough time with it. You play up against jam tracks. You play around with it. You use the licks. You use the new notes. And once you're comfortable and it's easy, it's boring, you add a new note. Or you go to another scale, which is a slight change. Learn it like that and then get comfortable over time. Decide to only focus on that for a week, for 2 weeks. Don't, just play the minor pentatonic with the new scale you're learning so you really get used to it. And then you can move on to another position and repeat the process. Suddenly you're playing freaking 7 scales, and you learn it right away. You can go in to play with the guys, play in the band, and you already master at one place on the neck 3, 4, 5 different scales in one place, right? So you're already in the game. And then you expand that skill to cover the whole fretboard. This is fun. This totally takes out the overwhelm of learning scales, and you can use your skills right away. See you.